There's another one who's up north in the UK, who's a director also of a science company, medical science company. But he's been selling himself, and he's been selling his services to nuclear lobbyist groups and organisations and companies. Yeah, you can see that he's there in order to get them some influence and get them to pass, get himself to be able to get laws passed in their favour. Also, we know, not long ago, just last year, MP expenses. Nearly every MP, nearly, 600 MPs in the House of Parliament, in the Commons, yeah, was caught with their hand in the till. Yeah, all of them were milking this machine, milking this, the system in order for their own personal benefit. So if you have, maybe if it was one or two, you'll think, look, they're bad apples, yeah? But if it's 600 out of 640 or so, yeah, there's only about 20 which did not claim like the others, yeah? Then we've got a question, is it just an apple, or is the whole orchard infected by this disease of self-service and benefit, yeah? So that's party donations, that's MPs who are corrupt, the media is under the influence. We know that the Sun, Sky, these media outlets are under the control of Murdoch, a major business leader in this country and in other countries as well. And because of this, because of the backing of the media, and because of the backing of certain media outlets, you'll find and you see that whoever they back will eventually win the election. So the Sun newspaper, which is the highest selling newspaper in this country, yeah, whoever they normally back for the last 6 elections have won. So whoever they back and give their support to has won the election. So this year round they're supporting the Conservatives. They normally, the last 2 elections they supported Labour, but this year round they're supporting the Conservatives. And Allahu Alam, let's see if that influence is going to work, yeah? And that's by Murdoch. He owns the Sun, he owns Sky, and he networks and rubs shoulders with other big major business leaders. So he'll use that media outlet to create that influence and get that result. So all of this, yeah, from party donations, business support, yeah, the media, foreign policy as well. If you look at foreign policy, no ordinary man in this country can influence any of the foreign policy in this state, in this country. So we've got examples of the Iraq War. The Iraq War, they declared war on the Muslims in Iraq. People came out on the street, they still went ahead. Yeah. Tony Blair did not even consult with MPs before consulting the media. He went to Observer, The Sun, and he had discussions with them before consulting MPs and letting them know of their plans. Yeah. So you can see that even internationally, in foreign policy, there's no way we will be able to influence foreign policy because a lot of people say, look, we need to enter the system and influence the foreign policy and stop them from having relationships with Israel and what have you. That won't happen because they're set up, the ideology is set up to support these other countries and other states, and they prioritize their interest, the British interest and the national interest. So whether it means killing 1 million but achieve other contracts and take over gas and oil, they'll do that. They'll do that, yeah? I don't want to get bogged down in all these examples. There's a lot more examples. There's a lot more evidence behind, a lot more evidence to suggest that the ordinary man does not have influence, but it's business leaders, it's certain influentials within societies, who are known as elite and who are privileged because they have that capacity to influence the state. So looking at all of this, we can safely say that if this state, if this government, if democracy, the package of democracy they're giving us, yeah, all that the people do is every 5 years they go and rubber stamp on choose a particular individual, a particular MP, and that's it. For the next 5 years they'll have to wait until that MP goes before they can make another choice. Yeah? If we understand that this system is not geared for the benefit of the people, it's geared towards the benefit of the people who rule and run this country, for the business leaders, for those who have an interest in economic interest in making sure that laws get passed according to their likes and dislikes. then why is it that we are being told to come and join and engage in the system? Forget the normal non-Muslims, but Muslims. Yeah? If from the reality we can see that democracy is not there for the people, it's there for certain, for the few, yeah? Then why is it that they are coming to us as Muslims and asking us to come and vote, and we're going to be able to influence the system, influence the government, influence laws and what have you, when the case is that even the normal person on the street can't influence this government? It's the business leaders, it's those who have an interest, that people who run industries who can influence the government. Then why do they come to us and ask us when we know that as Muslims they'll even make it a lot more difficult for us to even think about influencing the system? So the question is, I'm just going to end there, end in a few minutes, but the thing is that a question might be asked that, okay, if we don't engage, if we don't give our vote and participate politically in this country, then what shall we do? Yeah, we can't just sit there, we can't just allow them to decide our fate and our destiny. But the question is that, what have we done? And let's look at the reality and the history of us in this country as Muslims. In the last 30, 40, 50 years, however long Muslims have been here, we've achieved so much without even having any influence on the system. We've achieved so many mosques up and down the country, madrasas, Islamic schools, yeah? We've got halal meat, yeah? We've got mosques to pray in. We've got places to send our kids for education, and other institutes and things that we can resort to without even having one MP in Parliament, having no councillor, having no influence on the system, but we've achieved these rights and these certain basic things, needs that we need as Muslims. And that's because we've been united and we've been unified in our struggle to get these aspects of our of society. Yeah. So in conclusion, there's a saying, there's an English saying, which goes as, remember the golden rule, he who has the gold rules. Yeah. Basically, he who has the money, the financial capability, he's the one who rules. And that's the golden rule that we should remember. Yeah, that we can't influence this country, we can't influence the system, but the way to get our rights and the way to secure our interests of education, mosques, youth clubs and what have you, is to do what we've been doing throughout the last 30 to 40 years, is put our money together, put our strength and put resources together, put our skills together and achieve that. If our uncles and fathers and that could achieve that when they just came to this country, then we can definitely achieve this because we have doctors, lawyers, people who are skilled in certain aspects of society, degrees in computing, IT, law, and what have you. Yeah. So if we've achieved so much, then we are positioned to be able to secure even more without even compromising our values in the system. So I'll end it there, inshallah, and I'll allow the floor to open.